fortune that could outlive a nation, and a name that refuses to fade. Imelda Marcos. She didn't just collect shoes, she collected power, connections, and a web of money that spanned the globe. How did it survive revolutions, lawsuits, and exile? How did it outlast a dictatorship? The answer sits in vaults and archives, in code names and shell companies, in the quiet grind of generational ambition. Step back to the 1970s. Martial law locks down the Philippines. Ferdinand Marcos rules. Imelda dazzles. Gala after gala, palace after palace. A first lady as star and storm. Behind the lights, a machine hums. Cronies get monopolies. Contracts flow to friends. The economy bends to a small circle. And according to investigators, money escapes offshore. Here's the first key: aliases. Court records later showed two names on Swiss accounts: William Saunders, Jane Ryan. Not Western bankers, not private clients. Those were the aliases for Ferdinand and Imelda. Open the account, move the funds, hide the trail inside foundations. A maze built by lawyers in Zurich and Panama. Papers signed with careful hands. Sums shuttled in discreet wires. Always a step ahead of daylight. Then, February 1986. People power surges. The dictatorship falls in days. The Marcoses flee to Hawaii. They arrive with crates, cash, jewels, gold. The images become legend. In Manila, a new commission forms, the PCGG. Its mission is simple on paper and nearly impossible in practice. Find the money, bring it home. Agents comb the palace. They find documents, diaries, ledgers with opaque nicknames, lists of artworks, stacks of titles. It's not a fortune in one place. It's 1,000 streams feeding one river. The hunt goes global. New York, Zurich, Hong Kong, Honolulu. Swiss authorities freeze accounts linked to the aliases. U.S. lawyers chase shell companies tied to Fifth Avenue properties. Across courtrooms, the same questions echo. Whose money is this? How did it get there? Who gets it now? One case becomes a landmark. The Swiss accounts under those aliases. Years of motions and appeals grind forward. In 2003, the Philippine Supreme Court orders the forfeiture of about $658 million. The money, the court rules, is out of scale for a public salary. Ill-gotten wealth, a victory for the state, but only one victory. Another thread winds through New York. Arelma S.A., a Panamanian corporation with a Merrill Lynch account. Roughly $35 million, plus years of growth. Human rights victims seek payment from it. So does the Philippine government. Legal knots tighten. Judges warn that not all parties are present. Cases stall. The funds remain tangled. Back in the Philippines, the family returns. Exile ends. The Marcos name finds its way back into ballots. Ilocos Norte becomes a fortress for the brand. Imelda wins a seat in Congress. Her children rise. Mayor, governor, senator. The cases never stop entirely. In 2018, a special court convicts Imelda of graft for creating Swiss foundations and accounts. 7 counts, a heavy sentence on paper. She appeals. She remains free on bail. The law inches forward. Politics moves faster. Wealth is not only a number. It's reach, it's narrative. It's the ability to survive the news cycle and rewrite the next one. The family builds an online army. Images of highways and hospitals circulate. Slick videos call it a golden age. On TikTok and Facebook, memory trades punches with myth. Meanwhile, the artifacts of wealth still surface. Paintings linked to old purchases. Jewelry collections locked in government vaults. Auctions planned, delayed, fought over. Each gem tells a story about value and secrecy. About what was taken, about what remains in limbo. How do you keep a fortune alive when the spotlight is on? You learn to breathe underwater. You split ownership across borders. You use nominees. You cycle assets through companies with bland names. You buy time with motions and appeals. And you bet that public attention burns hot, then moves on. Imelda understood spectacle, but she also understood structure. A palace opens its doors to cameras. A trust document opens only to a key holder. One dazzles, the other endures. The math is cold. Even with billions recovered by the state, investigators say more is missing. Some trails went dark decades ago. Some records were destroyed when regimes collapsed. Some insiders never talked. And no one knows if the final ledger will ever balance. Then 2022 rewrites the map. Imelda Marcos wins the presidency by a landslide. Allies fill key posts. Networks from the past reconnect in the present. A family once driven out returns to the highest office. Generational power crystallized. What happens to hidden wealth when power returns? The answer is not a scene, it's a process. Budgets are drafted, priorities are set, cases get momentum or gather dust. Witnesses retire, memories blur, strategy becomes a quiet art. But history keeps receipts. Court rulings sit in archives. Frozen accounts still exist. Recovery totals are logged, updated, audited. Each page is a reminder. Fortunes can be engineered. So can countermoves. Imelda Marcos built an image that glowed. She also built a framework that burrowed. One was meant for the public. The other was meant to survive it. And that may be the secret of it all. Not just how the money was hidden, but how the name was kept alive. Election after election, platform after platform. A brand that learned to bend without breaking. Shoes were never the point. They were the bait. The cameras followed the closets. Meanwhile, the papers crossed oceans.